Oh boy. I'm probably gonna get lynched by the fandom after this. To say that Meggy has become a controversial character over the years is kind of an understatement. Certain people like the character, while certain people hate the character. As for where I stand on Meggy, well, you probably already know what the answer is. I love Meggy as much as half of the fandom does, but boy oh boy, has she had real stinkers or what? And that's where this episode steps in. Buckle up as I once again talk about my favorite SMG4 character and how much she's been handled well and tolerated over the past few years. This is going to be one hell of a retrospective on the character. So buckle up for a real ride. Meggy is a jock who enjoys playing sports and going on adventures with Mario and the others. Her main sport of interest being the turf war, in which her goal is to become the top athlete. She is very competitive, as she is willing to take on any challenge that is thrown at her and also has a thirst for victory. She also wanted to win the Splatfest at one point, as she was focused on training for it hard and is determined on winning it, as she finally gets to do so in Meggy's Destiny. She also seems to really like winning challenges, as she tries her hardest to try and win them. She also appears to have a strong sense of justice, as she graduated as a lawyer in university, and has a desire to fight crime after winning Splatfest. Meggy is also very determined, as she never gives up on her dreams and goals. She never gave up on winning Splatfest, as she was persistent on winning one. Destiny notes that this is why she picked Meggy as her rival. Whenever she gets knocked back down, she'll always get back up. Meggy can also be very helpful and loyal as she is willing to, and tries to help her friends in any way, proving her to be a formidable opponent. She also tends to help Mario when he needs a lawyer or to get him out of trouble. This is shown in Mario's Big Chungus hunt, where she tries to get the Chungus tribe to not eat Mario. It eventually succeeds, but Mario is not grateful and sticks the middle finger at her instead. Ugh, yeesh. Meggy also tends to feel sorry whenever she offends somebody or is too strict to someone. An example being if Mario was in Splatoon 2, where she trains for Splatfest with Mario harshly. Another example is in Meggy's boot camp, where she harshly yells at her friends for failing the training for Splatfest, only to feel remorse after when she realizes that she was being too harsh on them. She hardly apologizes to them for being mean to them, that winning Splatfest won't be important to her when she loses her friends along the way. This causes her to train her teammates with easier courses and a more friendly and supportive attitude. When it comes to voice actors for Meggy, like most characters, she has two. Those being Lizzie Freeman and Elsie Lovelock. But you know what? I'm gonna throw in Ultimate and Horizon in there, because, well, they're the best Meggy voices in fan content, at least in my opinion. Let's start with Lizzie Freeman. Like I said in my Meggy Voices Ranked video, while I really like Lizzie's voice for Meggy, especially in Sunset Paradise, I just wish that she got more voice lines of dialogue instead of using voice clips. This is something that was fixed when Elsie Lovelock was brought along. And let me just say that Elsie absolutely knocks it out of the park with her voice performance as Meggy. Her vocal range for me peaked at Western Spaghetti, and I don't think that her vocal range will ever top that. A massive improvement over how Lizzie was handled. As for the two fan-made voice actresses, they do a phenomenal vocal range. Ultimate is just straight up incredible with her voice for Meggy, being a combination of mainly being Lizzie's voice, while also having a bit of the Elsie taste, if you know what I mean. Just watch any of mine or Jake's videos to see what I mean. And Horizon's voice for Meggy is just so vibey, man. It honestly makes me wish we could have more fan projects with her in it. And she absolutely nails the role as Meggy in everything she does. With her best performance being in my first fan-made arc series, the Splatoon arc. I know that may be biased because it's my own work, but there's just something about Horizon in that arc that really writes home for me. Like, she actually cries when she gets upset, like it should be. But both Ultimate and Horizon do an incredible job of bringing the character to life in some way, shape, or form. I wish I could say the same for some of her episodes, though. Okay, let's just get this section out of the way, so that then I can be one step closer to my two favorite Disney girls. Meggy's standout moment, to no one's surprise if you've been around for a long time, Meggy's Destiny. I made a full review of this movie in the past, and this is still amazing. Not just because of the cinematography, not just because of the story, but because of Meggy's character arc. When she's given this hoverboard thing, I can't remember what the flying fuck it was called, she's like, I don't need this bullshit thing, I could do without it. Only to realize that she does need it. Which all leads up to a well-deserved victory after a pretty intense final battle. With one final hurrah with Destiny heading off into the afterlife, Meggy's journey from inkling to human has been complete. And you're left with one feeling, satisfaction. And you're just left feeling happy for Meggy when she completes her arc. But it's just a pity that the following seasons didn't stick to the status quo. Which leads us on to her low points. Now, I ask you, what can be worse than Rolly brings the house down and James in the dark combined? 5 words. A happy little road trip. I don't even think I need to tell you how awful this episode is. I am just going to show clips of it to you, and I am just going to let it destroy your hearts from the inside.
Quit it! Quit it! Just try to point another finger at me!
Coming. See you later, stinky!
Hey, shut the hell up back there!
Okay. Let me make one thing clear. This is not jumping the shark. I'm going to say that again. This is not jumping the shark. No. This is jumping the shark, coming back, shooting it in the balls, raping it, eating its flesh, consuming its soul, mounting its head on the wall, and then doing the same thing to 12 more fucking sharks just to be safe. I can't even begin to describe this just utter abomination. When I first saw this episode last year, my past self thought that this episode was decent. Decent! But then, after seeing all the hate surrounding the Mario and Meggy acting as siblings cliche, the more I saw it, the more I started to despise it. It really pains my heart to witness this because it's been done before, and better, if I'm honest. And what makes this even worse is that it absolutely retcons that one single line in final hours. I hate retcons in TV shows, unless it's something bad and deserves to be retconned. Take for example the Star Wars sequel trilogy, where the movie following the previous one retcons everything it was going for. I actually think that this is worse than stuff like Wonky Whistle and Push Me Pull You combined. And it was at this point where I started to dislike SMG4 Mario. This has to be the worst SMG4 episode ever made. Nay, on the top 3 list of worst episodes in media I have ever watched. It is that horrendous. An absolutely abysmal episode. And it is Mario and Meggy at their absolute worst. Moving on. Despite having her out of character moments, Meggy is still an amazing character in my opinion, and is my personal favourite SMG4 character. Though with her out of character moments, I do see why people like God hate her. It's such a shame that she has the most amount of duds more than any other character in the SMG4 series. But man, what they did with her before that was amazing. Though, I can say that, despite her duds, she still has her amazing moments. I love how her coaching status is still alive and well. And I love how Elsie is still giving her all despite the character's off moments. It's like Michelangelo is still giving it his all in the Nitrogen era despite the half-assed writing in most of the episodes.
Thomas couldn't let Charlie be more fun than him. He pumped his pistons, bubbled his boiler, and fizzed his firebox. The race was on.
Same thing goes with Elsie voicing Meggy here. Now, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, as me being harsh on Meggy is not really my forte. But, despite me hating most of Meggy's moments, she is not the worst character we've seen in terms of character assassination. Many others I know have had it much worse. I still think that dishonor still goes to Henry. Good lord, what did they do to you, Big Green? Whew! I gotta say, this was probably the hardest episode I've ever made in this series. But I hope you guys found it entertaining. Our final SMG4 character we'll be covering is none other than Dusty. And it's going to be interesting to cover this character, as she's probably going to be the character whose opinions has not changed since the last time I reviewed her. I do want to apologize if this episode hasn't been much positive as the last few episodes. I just wanted to let my inner demons out while I'm talking about Meggy. And I don't think I've been this angry talking about something since I talked about Scoop's big job in my Ready Steady Build review. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't want to miss out on all the content that goes up on this channel. I need to calm down after this. This was pretty hard. Until next time guys, bye.